She called 911 screaming for 20 police cars, said a dangerous man was threatening her son. She demanded SWAT backup, everything. The funniest part, every single one of those officers worked for me. It started as a perfectly normal Thursday afternoon. Fresh Mart checkout line, my cart full of organic vegetables and a pack of steaks for dinner. I'd been living in Oakwood Estates for exactly 2 weeks, keeping a low profile since being appointed police chief 6 months earlier. Jeans, t-shirt, ball cap, nobody needed to know who I was. I just wanted to blend in, learn the community I'd sworn to protect. The cashier was halfway through scanning my groceries when I felt a hand reach over my shoulder and grab my tomatoes. "Hey, you don't need this fancy stuff," a cocky teenage voice said. I turned to see this kid, maybe 16, smirk plastered across his face. Blonde hair, polo shirt, the kind of arrogance that only grows when no one's ever told you no. "This food isn't for your kind," he said, clutching my tomatoes like he'd just made some grand statement. I took a slow breath, keeping my tone even. "Son, those are mine. Hand them back." He stepped back dramatically, eyes wide like I'd just pulled a weapon. "Mom, he's attacking me," he shouted. People turned confused, but before anyone could react, I heard the sharp click of heels on tile. Here she came. Patricia Thompson, his mother, the self-proclaimed queen of Oakwood Estates. Perfect blow-dry designer bag voice, sharp enough to cut glass. "Get away from my baby," she shrieked, yanking her phone from her purse. "I'm calling the police. There's a dangerous man here. Send 10 cars. No 20. She actually said 20. I watched her melt down equal parts, disbelief and exhaustion. "Ma'am," I said calmly, "your son took my groceries and called me names. I asked for them back." Her head snapped toward me. "People like you always play the victim," she spat. "You're causing trouble in a nice neighborhood. I run Oakwood Estates. I'm the head of the board. You'll regret ever coming here." I smiled because this was getting surreal. "Oakwood Estates," I said lightly. "What a coincidence. I just moved there 2 weeks ago." The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. She sputtered, "That's impossible." "I would know. Guess we're neighbors then," I said, picking up my groceries. One of the tomatoes rolled off the belt and hit the floor with a soft splat. I paid, nodded to the cashier, and left already knowing this wasn't over. That night I found out how right I was. At exactly 2 a.m., music blasted from the Thompson house, some awful EDM remix loud enough to rattle my windows. Through the blinds, I saw Patricia live streaming to her phone, shouting, "This is what happens when the wrong people move into our neighborhood." At 3 a.m., eggs hit my front door. At 4, her 3 dogs mysteriously escaped and dug up my flower beds. I didn't call it in. I didn't yell. I just documented everything. My cameras, 4 hidden, 1 fake, captured every second in perfect HD. She wanted a war. She'd just given me evidence. By morning, she was on my porch arms, crossed eyes blazing. "You don't belong here," she hissed. "We have standards." I kept watering my plants. "You're right," I said. "Maybe you should talk to whoever keeps letting their dogs destroy property." Her jaw tightened. "I'll make your life hell until you leave." "Ma'am," I said, smiling faintly, "you've already started." That night, her son Tyler snuck over with a baseball bat, smashed my visible camera, and spray-painted the most disgusting slur across my garage. He even filmed himself doing it, posted it online, bragging, "Mom's gonna be so proud." Too bad that camera was a decoy. The real ones were hidden everywhere. By the next day, I had a folder full of evidence and a headache the size of Texas. That's when my neighbor Linda called. "Marcus," she whispered, "Patricia doesn't know what you do for a living, does she?" "No," I said, "and I'd appreciate keeping it that way." She sighed. "She's run 3 minority families out of here in 2 years. Be careful. She's meaner than she looks." That night, I sat alone in my home office reviewing footage. I'd faced armed criminals, high-speed chases, full-blown riots, but this felt different, smaller, pettier, somehow heavier. There was a moment around 2 a.m. when I looked at those hateful words on my garage and thought, maybe I should just move. Maybe it's not worth the fight. Then I remembered the 3 families Linda mentioned, people who didn't have the badge, the resources, the power to push back. If I left, she'd keep doing this to someone else. That thought burned hotter than anger. I wasn't going anywhere. A week later, Patricia called an emergency HOA meeting at the community center. Flyers everywhere. Subject line, the Marcus problem. I got there early, sat in the back. The room filled with neighbors, mostly polite, mostly uncomfortable. Patricia strutted to the front in her best power suit. "Thank you all for coming," she began, fake tears ready on cue. "We have a threat in our neighborhood. This man," she pointed at a blown-up photo of me watering my plants, "moved in under suspicious circumstances. He attacked my son. He's dangerous." Her son sat in the front row nodding like a ventriloquist dummy. Patricia played an edited video, conveniently skipping the part where Tyler stole my groceries. "You see," she said, "he's always watching us, always lurking." I stood up. "Patricia, HOA rules say every resident can speak right." The president, an older man who looked exhausted, nodded. "That's right. Then let's show the rest of the footage." I walked to the front, plugged my phone into the projector. Silence. The screen lit up with the full video, Tyler stealing my tomatoes, shouting slurs, Patricia's voice screaming for 20 police cars. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "That's fake," Patricia shrieked. "Deep fake." He set us up. I switched to the next clip, Tyler vandalizing my property, Patricia watching from her porch. The slur appeared on the garage door in crisp detail. Someone in the back whispered, "Oh my God." The HOA president looked like he might throw up. "Patricia, this is serious. The board could be liable for this." Patricia's allies shrank back. One woman tore up her "We Stand with Patricia" flyer. I packed up my phone, turned to the room. "You wanted to call the police, Patricia. You'll get your wish." The next day she got it. City Hall, 3 p.m., press conference. The announcement read, "Police Chief Marcus Washington to address recent neighborhood incidents." Patricia showed up early, front row, thinking it was about her complaint. She even brought notes for a speech. When I walked in wearing full dress uniform, medals shining under the lights, she jumped to her feet. "Officer, that's him. Arrest him right now." Security moved, but I waved them off. I walked straight to the podium. She screamed, "You can't be up there. Where's the chief?" I adjusted the mic. "Good afternoon. I'm here to discuss the Oakwood Estates incidents." She pointed, shaking. "He's impersonating an officer. Someone stop him." The room went dead silent as I reached into my jacket and set my badge on the podium. The metal hit the wood with a solid clunk. 2 weeks ago, I said evenly, you called 911 demanding 20 police cars. You wanted to speak to the chief. Well, I'm the chief of every single one of them. The noise exploded, cameras flashing, reporters shouting. Someone yelled. She called the cops on the police chief. Patricia's knees buckled. She fainted right there. When she came to, I was standing over her. "Miss Thompson," I said, "you're under arrest for filing false police reports, harassment, and hate-motivated vandalism. You have the right to remain silent, which I suggest you finally use." Her son was handcuffed beside her, crying. "Mom, you said he was nobody." The young officer escorting him muttered, "Kid, nobody owns Chief Washington." By the next morning, the world knew her name. Karen called the chief was trending. Her job gone, her HOA seat revoked, her reputation ashes. And me, I didn't celebrate. I didn't post a victory speech. I just stood on my porch, the same one she'd vandalized, and watched the sunrise over a quiet street. For the first time in weeks, Oakwood Estates felt peaceful. Patricia Thompson learned the hard way that hate is loud, but justice has a microphone too.